Alright, so we're here, Washington State, fishing a small lake. It's early May. I think I just found some yellow perch. One of these coves over here. Pretty sunny. It's a little windy, but let's see what we can get done. We'll have to excuse a crack on my screen. I cracked this Garmin screen. They make replacement screens, but I just have not had time to do any of that. Or do I really want to put the money into that right now? We're using Livescope, and we're going to try to show you today how to catch these yellow perch on Livescope. Just missed him. Oh, better just drop it right down too. So we're fishing about 25 feet of water. We got our boat in about 17 foot of water here at the bow. What we're doing is we're throwing out 10 or 15 feet, maybe a little farther, and try to see our bait coming down. We kind of sweep it over a long area. Try to get these fish to come up to it. These aren't giants. I was catching about 3 different sizes yesterday. We had like some dinkers, some mediums, and some fatties. This is what I would call medium. This spot was really good for the medium to big size fish. I mean, if you can see this on the screen, it's pretty loaded up with them. Now, I was finding them pretty shallow yesterday. That's where I was catching a lot of those dinkers. We found this spot, which is a little deeper than what we had been fishing in the edge of the weed beds. This doesn't have any weeds in it. You just barely see my bait falling down in there right there. We are about 18 feet. As soon as I get to the bottom, they just kind of swarm it. It usually takes 1 or 2 of them to really get a bunch of them over there. There's a little better one. It's not fatty, but these are very nice fish. Considering I caught my first yellow perch a week ago. I mean, it's just full of them. We're just gonna keep doing this until we get tired of it. There's a mama duck with a bunch of babies. Yeah, you better get out here. Come in, right for you. And again, we can see our bait falling down, kind of losing it, but when it gets close to the bottom, I'll be able to find it because they're going to be absolutely swarming it. I think I found it. Okay, good one. Good medium-sized fish. Now, I was keeping some small ones yesterday. She wanted to throw the small ones back and give them another chance, but seen about 7 bald eagles here yesterday and a ton of trout. There's actually trout following these perch up when I was pulling them out of the water, and so I told her if we don't eat them, one of these other animals are gonna eat them. You can see them chasing it back down now. It's falling down. Right before I hit the bottom, I stopped. They are on it today. I was having to kind of finesse it yesterday, but today it's no issue. So a couple things on bait. Using a really small jig head. I guess this is a 1/16 ounce. Some really small baits. This electric chicken really worked good yesterday, but this white one was already on it. Using some crappie niblets, and they're pretty old, kind of dried out a little, which is good because they stay on the hook longer. And then we got the most important thing to keep me from getting hungry today. I didn't pack a lunch. And again, we're just gonna cast this out about 20 feet in front of the boat. I'm using a 12-foot pole, so I don't have to throw it out there too far. We want to be able to see that thing falling, and well, I can see it. It's kind of hard to show up, but a trained eye, you can kind of catch it. You see them all swarming that area. I don't even have to continue to look at it. I'm going to swarm that area. Missed it. Didn't bite. So these have a very soft bite. I mean, it's almost non-existent. And to get them to bite, a little different than other species I've live scoped. You want to get that bait almost to the bottom, but not quite. I'm going to go up to it. Bait's probably knocked off. Nope. So when they're not biting, I'm trying to get them to bite. I've found I can suddenly raise it about 3 feet and then just stop. And it's such a soft bite, you don't feel them bite, but it seems like they always go for it when I do that raise, and then I don't feel a bite. I don't usually see it on the screen, but I'm just guessing that they bit it by the amount of time. So I'll raise it about 3 feet, and I'll give it a jerk about 2 seconds later without even feeling a bite, and there's usually one on there. Because I mean, it's not like a crappie bite, you're not going to feel it. If they get really hungry, we might feel a couple of them, but most of them are going to be. I like the slope. This pretty flat bank, but I found a lot of points and coves under the water. And the slope, if I casted it out there at 10 or 15 feet range, if I could see my bait on the screen, which I can, and I get it down there, so they swarm it. You're going to cover a lot wider area with that slope. Getting it towards the back of the slope where it's deeper, and then dragging it till it's shallow. Kind of like a pendulum swing. We're just able to cover a lot more fish, because not all of them are going to bite, but once we get 5 or 6 of them looking in the same spot, seems like the whole group kind of rushes over to check it out, and one of them will take a bite usually, almost every cast. Here's a kayaker. Haven't had too much problems with wake boats today. We already pissed one off though at the boat ramp, so it's another good reason to video is if he comes and harasses us or something. These bait don't last very long. These lures don't last very long with these fish. They're just tearing the body of this jig up. Jig head lasts all day, but now there's a lot of fish in this lake. There's crappie and walleye and trout. One of the biggest trout I've ever caught was on this lake. I was actually using this 12-foot pole. If we get bored of this, we'll go check that out, see what these other people are fishing for. But get a nice mess of these to take home. Oh. Yeah, every time I miss this bite, this body, it's going to come off that jig head. It's just not ideal, but as quick as we're catching them, I don't really want to swap it out yet. This wind is a little faster than the 1 mile per hour they forecasted for today. Now see, they're swarming it. Oh, son of a biscuit. I'll just go ahead, put a new body on. They like this electric chicken better anyways. So there's some swarms of bait fish in here. I don't know what they are. We might see some later today. But they're chowing down on them, and I was trying to go for something that looked like that, but they just seemed to really like this color yesterday, so we'll go back to it. I usually use a lot bigger setup than this, but I found that I can still catch the big ones on these tiny hooks, and some of these smaller fish, they just don't like that presentation of that big bait. And even some of these big fish that are more finicky, seems like a smaller bait, I can kind of get them to work for it. But this isn't like jigging the way your grandpa did. You'll see guys on the boat ramp using that small little twitch. I found that kind of scares them off. What I found yesterday was I get to the bottom and then raise it about 3 feet kind of suddenly, but not a jerk, and they just swarm it and can't really feel the bite, so you just wait about 2 or 3 seconds and just give it your own little hook set, since you can't feel the bite. Sometimes I can see my line on the screen is kind of going diagonal from my split shot, and I assume it's in their mouth, but other than that, we're not going to feel it. There's no point in. Now we can't see our bait falling, but just kind of see these groups of fish reacting to it. Just pulled it out of his mouth. And that helps us find our bait on the screen, is just seeing these fish reacting to that one area. Well, that reminds me, oh, you can see, damn it, I lost him. You can see one of those bait fish he puked up when he's puking up my lure. I don't know what these bait fish are. They could be, we got shad back home. They look kind of like that. They can be some sort of minnow or even some sort of smelt, salmon smelt or trout smelt. I don't really know what time of year, so don't really know their identity, but we'll show them to you later if we get one of those bait fish on the boat, and you can try and tell us. I have a cast net. I've never used it. I don't know how they'd like us cast net and whatever them are. If we can even use that bait. I assume you can. Now you see them all swarming my jig. I don't really know where it's at, but I can see the fish. I don't think it's anywhere where we think it's at. Just go ahead and drop it on down. I think it's on the bottom. Oh, you son of a bitch. Stole her crappie nublet. I mean, we're really shallow. You can see the sand right there. But it drops off. I got the front of my boat right at this drop off. I'm gonna throw it on out. Oop, wrapped around the tip a little bit. So we're dropping pretty much like 6 feet in front of the boat this time. Ooh, that feels a lot better. Turn this drag down. Oh, too much. Oh, that is a nice one. I don't know how big these get, but it's the biggest one today. Kind of looks like a walleye. But yeah, I meant to turn my drag down. Yesterday we hooked something that broke us off. I don't know what that was, but I think it was bigger than these yellow perch. So turn it down just a little. If we hook something crazy. Wrapped up again. If we hook something crazy, we'll be able to get it on the boat, hopefully, with our net. It's pretty windy today, so I don't know about going to different spots and trying different species, but we'll just work this spot for as long as we can. Now, usually on Livescope, you kind of want to see your bait, but these fish are telling me where my bait is, and they just swarm a certain area on the screen, and I can kind of get a view of my bait and just put it where I want it, height-wise. I like to start about a foot off the bottom, maybe 2 feet. We'll just drop it right back into them. So some of these Livescope settings, I'm looking 25 feet down and 30 feet out. You don't want it on auto, but you just want something that you can see your bait from a ways out, because we're kind of chucking this thing out there and swinging it over a wide area to just give as many fish of these as we can to swarm this bait. I don't think they're very hungry, but when they see all their friends about to get a free meal, they decide they do want to take a bite. There's our buddy from yesterday, I think. He said he caught about 20 trout in this area. He seemed more impressed with about 100 of these I caught yesterday. That's another thing, is Washington doesn't have no limit on these in the area I'm at. We can see our bait clearly that time, that helps. We'll just hold it. Holy crap, you can see what we're dealing with here. Yeah, that's like 20 fish right there, or more. Wouldn't really consider it a school, but they're definitely in there in numbers. Yeah, he could say he caught about 20 trout yesterday. I like fishing, but I like catching more. We got a chance to empty this lake of yellow perch. We're going to do it today. But I don't think we're going to be able to. I mean, every fish we catch, it seems like 3 more show up down there. Wondering what all the fuss is about. We only got about a foot in front of the boat. We're actually kind of behind the boat. I don't know if I can see that drop in there. Yeah, that's a nice spot about this area is we're not messing with all them little ones. They're all decent size. And so after I filleted these, when I was washing them last night, I put all the little ones in a bowl, all my little fillets, and put the big and medium ones in a Ziploc. And 2 people, we couldn't even eat all those little fish that we caught yesterday. And so I was keeping every fish I caught yesterday, but we're not doing that today. I'm pretty fast at filleting fish, but we were doing that for about an hour yesterday after we got done fishing. It doesn't look like we're gonna fish near as long today. There's just so many of these. The boat's gonna be sinking like in the Bible. So many fish that the boat starts capsizing. We're kind of behind the boat. We found our bait. That's pretty cool. Get right down to them. Raise up and they're just exploding on it. It's alright. Just drop down that same spot. Yeah, we saw about 7 bald eagles and a couple beaver and crane and some geese and some ducks, ducklings. So, real good ecosystem, especially these yellow perch. We're just loaded up with them. So there's no limit on them in Washington. I think that's for all sunfish, but whatever. Oh, son. They're not native to this lake, and so we're really doing them a favor getting them out of here. That one's kind of small, but not like the small we were talking about yesterday. I mean, like I said, these got about 3 sizes, and this is your medium size right there. Those small ones were too small to keep, but there's no minimum size limit, and we just kept everything yesterday. And I'm pretty good at filleting, so we got quite a bit off of them still. Oh, we can see our bait. Really helps. A couple of them fighting over it. I think this one stole it from the big one. Should have hit it when I felt it, but was too worried about the presentation. Kind of skipped the bite, but I just don't like jerking it out of their mouths. These fish are really weird. You usually can't feel the bite. And if I do, it just feels like every time I feel a bite and I hook set it, I miss them. So they're so thick, it could just be a tail swipe or something. There's so many of them in this small little pocket. And it took us 5 or 6 hours to find this spot yesterday. But like I said, the edge of the weed beds are full of them. I mean, this whole area is full of them, but this one spot, bigger fish are kind of easier to find. Like I said, we didn't feel that bite, so we left it in that swarm long enough that we figured one had it. Sure did. So just kind of ignoring that bite. That might screw us whenever we get a walleye or crappie in this bunch of fish, but it's not what we're really going for today, so it's not the end of the world. But it would be fun to catch something else, especially by accident. I don't know what that is, some sort of whale. It's not a whale, but this water is connected to the ocean, and so you get sea run fish in here, sea run cutthroat, different salmon species, coconut. So whatever that was, it was big. But sometimes I kind of drop it back down to them. And we got a swarm around that bait. Again, I felt the bite, decided to set the hook, and I ain't got a fish. It's like they're setting it with their mouths closed or something. If you feel it, it's like you don't have one on there. Of course, we can't see our bait, but you know it's there because they're running into that one area. So that time, felt no bite. Gave it a hook set to an imaginary bite, and we got a fish. You'll see a few people fishing out here. They're fishing, they ain't catching. This is catching. But yeah, I forgot this was a how-to video, not a how awesome I am video. So let's try to show you a little bit. So it's a 12-foot pole, got a split shot about a foot above my jig. You can usually see that on that screen. That's why I have these settings looking so far out. It's because I can see it right there. I can see that swarm of fish. Look at them all coming up. Sometimes you kind of feel it, but I mean, them hard bites. It's like if I set the hook, there's nothing on it every time. That was a little softer one. We got his ass. I don't know how many of these I feel like catching. We'll do maybe 50 of them. took the plastic off my cork. It's wet hands, kind of keeps the thing a little fresher. I got a little bit of a shallow spot here. Need to be more out there. There's my bait. It's pretty easy to find. It didn't even get to the bottom before this thing grabbed it. We got our outboard pretty far away from that sandbar. Nice thing about the spot is we don't got no logs and trees and shit. I'm gonna set my pole down. Yesterday I was doing that and I'd have fish on it when I go back to my pole. Yeah, we already got at least 10 of them. We haven't even been here a hot minute. They want some water, I want some water. Now all these fish, I believe, are post-spawn. We didn't see any eggs in them. We're catching them right out of the weed beds. We caught some fat ones we thought were full of eggs, but they were full of whatever these bait fish are. I mean, they'd have 6 or 7 of these giant minnow looking things inside of them. Really, our big fish aren't much bigger than the mediums. They're just full of whatever that stuff is, whatever that bait is. Yeah, they'll catch on to what I'm doing eventually. Smart people will. The kid yesterday, teenager, came to me at the boat ramp and said, "Man, what were you using to catch them fish? We saw you just whacking them perch yesterday." So it doesn't look like anyone's around us, but people see us. The best thing about it, by the time you guys see this video, this spot, these fish probably moved on by then. But I ain't too secretive of where I'm fishing at, unless I'm supposed to be at work or something. I just saw my split shot veering off. Figure it is in his mouth. I ain't got enough water for now. So we got all of our screens off except for the Livescope. That's because we're gonna conserve our battery for this one spot. We knew we'd be in the spot a long time. Yeah, they said 1 mile per hour wind today, and it feels about like 9. It's gotten a little better. Yesterday I said 9, and there was times it was, but it's pretty wind free for most of the day, so I think they got their days mixed up. Fishing them weed beds, there's only a couple fish in them. And started getting windy. It's pretty hard to stay on them, even with this big fiberglass boat. But this area, it could get pretty windy today. I think we can stay on these fish. Whatever that is, coming in hot. That is not yellow perch. I don't know what that is. But a little excited. It's coming in so hard. They're swarming, but they're not really biting yet. Alright, so we're gonna, too late. I want to show you how I was catching them yesterday, but before we can even have to do anything, we get fish on, so it's not a bad thing, but they just weren't biting it like they were yesterday, or not biting it like they were today. Yeah, she was worried that she sees us from yesterday. I didn't like the way it was shaped. It's actually kind of cool. She wanted to get rid of them little ones, throw them back, give them a chance. But like I said, there's so many predators in this lake that if I don't get to eat them, something else will. So we're just keeping them all yesterday. We were going to be a little more picky today, but we don't really have to. They're just all, none of them small fish that we were catching yesterday. But we're also out of them weed beds. And we're down to them. Ooh. I wouldn't really call that school. They're all kind of doing their own thing until this bait gets down to them. And it's like one or two of them will look at it, and then pretty soon all of them are coming for it. We're down in that sweet spot. Let's keep it there for a second. We only got like two of them looking at it. It's like all of a sudden 2 turns into 10. Here's a fat one. I like these fins they have, these bright orange fins. But yeah, there's no eggs in these fish. They're just full of bait. Eating good. Them fat ones anyways. Some of them males I think they still think it's spawn time. They're splooging out stuff when I catch them. Just a couple of them though. I think most of these are pretty well done with the spawn. Seems kind of early to me. I haven't been fishing this lake for like 6 months. I guess the crappie haven't even started spawning, which is weird. I think I'd be out here with these fish. Got 2 turned into 10 real fast. Oh. Try to sit down, save my feet a little. It helps that I fished a lot with this bait and set up. I can see it falling in there 16 feet out. It really helps. First one I'd hooked quite like that. Let's see if we stick my finger in there. Nope, that's in there pretty good. Swallowed it. I don't know if I really like this. GPS anchors really been kind of aggressively just flipping me around everywhere. Anytime I use it, ran me into a dock the other day. Alright, those came up fast, wasn't it? Never guess what it is. It's another yellow perch. I was a little more excited than others. Saw that. 18 feet of water. I was only like 8 foot down and shot off from the bottom for it. Now that's every cast. That's what I've been telling people is every cast. And that really was. Oh. So you can see. Some of that bait fish I was talking about. That one's pretty digested. Can't really identify it, but I don't know, shad type minnow. Could be some sort of game fish baby. Assume they wouldn't like you using baby trout for bait. I don't know what the hell they are. You guys can make up your own mind. Yeah, that fish they're eating, that bait fish, is pretty big. I don't know if I'd want to use that for bait on these. They seem to really be responding to this small lure. Like again, every cast, There's some yellow perch following this one. Oh, ooh, come here. It's a little bigger. We still haven't used up all them crappie niblets from that pile we poured out. What is this there? First, second, third body on this jig? The niblet does help. And it gives them a little smaller target to hit, even smaller than this small jig we're using. What is that, 5 casts in a row? Just get them on the boat at least. And we're whacking them at this point. If we had a second person, we'd have probably 50 fish right now. I'm not counting, but looks to be more than a dozen in there. See if we can catch one more on this body. Really taking a beating. Yeah, these smaller bodies, they just don't hold up very well. I don't know if they're any cheaper for a pack of them, but I only got 2 or 3 packs of them. They seem to really like them. Alright. That's why we have no body. They didn't like that. They kind of all swam out of there. I thought maybe some big predator fish came through there and scared them all off, but they did not like that jig head without a body. Yeah, itty bitty swimmer. Electric chicken. I used to use electric chicken a lot more. When I first started fishing, I thought it was just the shit. And I started using them more minnow colored stuff. Fishing a lot of clear water on sunny days. This water ain't dirty, it ain't cloudy, but that electric chicken sure is hitting. They kind of all went back to their own spots. That's what I'm saying. There's no school of fish down there. I don't see a single fish on the screen. There's our bait. Get down to the bottom. They all really cleared out of there. We get down to the bottom. Got one looking at. We just gotta get a couple of them looking at it. There's two of them looking at it. There's about 5 more that just came over to it. Oh, we just missed them. I'll throw back into that pile of them. It's like they ain't schooled up at all. It's like we're making our own schools with this bait. So this is kind of like yesterday. We got 4 or 5 fish looking at it, none of them biting. So we're gonna try that trick. Drop close to the bottom, raise up 2 feet, 3 feet. Suddenly, give it a second. Just kind of looking in the wrong spot, and we lost their niblet. Oh, we'll pull her out. Oh. Two niblets. See what we catch on them and take a break. Yeah, it's kind of shallow over that area. There's our drop off. See 4 or 5 on the bottom. We just want to sweep over the top of all 4 or 5 of them. Drag them all into one bunch. It'd be easier if we could see our bait. Shit. I don't know why that keeps happening. Gotten smart on us or something. I was lying about taking a break. We came out here to fish. I was just maybe drinks a little bit of water. We're just kind of off that spot a little bit, but we're still over here. It's a pretty wide spot. No, I can't see that bait at all. I can see we're getting swarmed. Again. Alright, it's not cool. Getting outsmarted by fish. Let's try that stupid GPS anchor. That seems pretty terrible about holding our spot. one water down. Put me another little pinch in my left hand while it's still dry and not fishy. I think they are catching some fish over there. We got about 4 people on the bank over there. I see them put a fish in the bucket. There's 5 people over there. There's only like 2 people over there earlier. Birds getting out. No, I'm gonna guess they're not catching yellow perch. They might be on a worm or something. We'll just assume they ain't catching. They're fishing for yellow perch. Fishing kayaks are multiplying. I'm paying too much attention to fishing and talking to you guys. Everyone's coming in on me, watching me catch these fish. I don't get nervous when people watch me, but they do take a notice of you catching them. We'll have everyone in this spot before long. We're getting a little tougher, but we're still biting. Nothing I can really do to change things up. Or cast out a little farther, especially since I see a group of them over there. Howdy. Good, you?
Pretty good.
Any luck today? Ah.
Yeah.
I think we caught all those really active ones. We might have to work on getting the rest of these in our boat. Wind picked up a little. These fish aren't really on the bottom now. They're all throughout this column. I don't really know why they're doing that. When they were on the bottom, it was a little easier, I feel like. that sucks. Never seen such shit in my life. Oh no. Oh, lost. Our pump out is barely working. Ooh, we are shallow. Alright, so that sucks. This reel's about how to turn the right way. At least I ain't sponsored by these guys or anything. I think those threads are smaller. They are. Damn it. And we are getting shallow. Alright, we are going to take a break and swap out a reel. We'll be back shortly. Alright guys, we're back. We just did a reel change out. The fluger broke on us, but we've been using it for about 5 years. This fluger is actually smaller. Should do a little better. Yeah, I think we're going from 6-pound tests to 4-pound tests, so should also do better. It's gonna be an upgrade for this 12-foot crappie pole we're using, outlaw crappie pole. And we got about 10 sponsors, but we're not sponsored by Garmin or Fluger. But we sure like our products, and if they like this video, hit me up. So we're back in business. It took a good 10 minutes to string that line through all them eyes. 12 foot, that's a lot of eyes. We shut down the Livescope while we were messing with that. And the GPS lock on this Garmin trolling motor seemed to keep us in the same spot. We have some people over here. And we are back. There are fish down there. They are 20 feet out. 2 feet off the bottom. We're gonna go ahead and get out soon. The jig color changed just because we put a different jig on. They already had a body, but we'll see where that goes. Bait's showing up immediately. That's good. Right on the bottom. Fish are looking at. Raising up a little bit. Well, and the fish are gone. Bait's dropping in at 10 feet. Well, about 3 of them looking at it, but there's about 5 of them over there. There's a nice, oh, there's one fish down there. We only got one fish looking at our bait. Here comes over another. Make it 2. Drop down to the bottom, hit the bottom, pull up. Should be a 3 or 4 more on it. Okay. Just like that, we got 5 or 6 fish on our bait. Drop back down to the bottom. Come back up. Try to hold our spot a little better with this trolling motor. Missed him. Oh, sorry. Just like that, 3 casts and we have 20 fish in the same spot on our bait. Took a little bit of work. We went from 1 fish on our screen, switch sides for this, to 5 fish on our screen and 2 casts. And by 3 casts we had 20 fish on the screen, all looking at the same bait. That's the thing, is they're all still out there, all 20 of them. Kind of group up when we start fishing for them, and it's like they're trying to be caught. Word's going out that there's a nice boat up here that they can be hanging out on. Everyone wants to hang out on the boat on a nice day, it seems. That was a decent cast we got into a group of 5 of them or so. Really good bite. And we're back to recast. Didn't take too long. Fortunately, this one swallowed the hook. Our big group of fish down there might dissipate. We can probably get them back in 2 or 3 casts. Well, this line is very soft. I think it's 4 pound stern. We were using 6 pound P line. I mean, I broke this stuff yesterday just tying on a knot. So yeah, I want to drop that drag a little more. Just in case that cutthroat trout comes in here, get walleye. That would be stinking awesome, is to get walleye. I didn't bring any of my walleye stuff. Well, there is some walleye stuff on the boat at all times, but we weren't making a walleye trip out of this, and we don't want to. We're catching these fish like they're going out of style, as Hank Williams Jr. would say. Catching these fish like they're going out of style. Ooh, we are on the bottom, I think. I have no idea where we're at. As you can see, our school of fish we had down there is gone. Just like that, we got 5 fish on the same bait. Six, 7, 8. No bites yet. We're gonna drop all the way down. Quick raise up. Didn't feel a bite, but they've been down there the appropriate amount of time. Casting in that same spot. Once we get them schooled up like that, we can see our bait and keep casting in that same spot. Get back down that school. makes it a lot easier. I keep forgetting to set the drag on this. You son of a bitch. Oh. We hooked the aft coaster. She is not letting up. This is actually really freaking hard. Wow. You guys wouldn't believe me if I didn't get it on video. Lost the fish and I got hooked, ripped my shirt. Jig body's falling off now. That went terrible. Drifted off, lost our spot. Lost our school. They're all on the bottom again. That's cool. We can go back to our pendulum swing we were doing. Throw this out about 25 feet. Let it sink. Give it some line. There. Got a nice one in the boat. Our drag's set now. Hook ain't too hard to get out. We're back in business. Found our mojo. By the end of the night, we'll be cooking with grease. Literally. Now they've kind of all went into different levels of the water column again. It's crazy what these fish are doing. It's not much of a pattern to them. The only pattern is there's a ton of them and they're all in this area of the lake. there's like 30 of them out there. Another medium. Got a couple big ones. We need to get back on them. Getting kind of shallow. A lot of them kind of went shallow in the sun. There's a guy that waded out onto the sandbar. Good work. I mean, this is a big drop off from that sandbar. That's about the only way you're gonna catch these from the bank. That guy knows what he's doing. And there's a school of them. About 15 of them all in the same spot. We threw in right above them. Dropped right down in them pretty easy. Another medium. We're having better luck when we're 5-6 foot deeper, pulling them off the very bottom. Well, I knew that niblet was not going to stay on. This body's not staying on either. Might get one more fish with it like that. Body's already fell off. Fell down. I don't like that. Back to the electric chicken. That's the problem with this GPS lock, is it's a GPS lock and not a fish lock. But seems to have put us in a decent spot. 19 feet, that's where I really like being. So we're at 21 feet to the front of the boat. We cast about 25 feet out. What in the world? You gotta be kidding me. Well, that's why we normally fish with P-line. Alright, another break. Alright, pulled that knot through, re-tied on. Didn't even lose our niblet. So we are a good 14, 15, 16 inches. We got a split shot above the 16th ounce jig head. That helps us see our bait on the screen and gives us some weight to drop down there. It's 18 feet. Long way to drop down. You got 12-foot of eyes on your pole to go through. It's a little bit of weight never hurt. First cast, yellow perch. Who would have thought that? Yeah, still got our niblet. Still in the same spot. Ooh, I don't know what those are. Bright return, they're big. Right there in with our yellow perch. Bass, trout, crappie. Could even be a walleye. shallow. We're at 15 feet. It's not quite as deep as what I told you we're fishing, but this hole is pretty big and get to it. Another medium. We'll keep them. Still got our body. Add a niblet. Pretty good. 2 live wells almost full. We just on our second bottle of water. No idea where my bait is. I don't see any fish to really tell me. In the middle of them. Didn't even know it. Got a bite. Set the hook. It's hard to get used to not setting the hook when you feel a bite. But they just don't seem to bite that hard. And when they do, it's like you always pull it away from them. Almost better to just wait, which is what I was doing. I was just waiting a couple seconds. Oh, there's those bait fish we were talking about. A shit ton of yellow perch. The cool thing about these bait fish is whenever I'd cast in, the bait fish would go down with my bait. Now, how did we go from fucking 20 feet of water to 5 feet of water? Ooh. Yeah, we want to get out of this. Wow. There's a ton of fish in that 5 feet of water. I've never seen so many fish up close like that. And we just threw right in. Must not like being this shallow, 4 feet deep. But wow, is this weed bed loaded up or what? Might as well pick a couple off of it while we're over here. Right down in them. Come up. It's alright. There's a ton more out there. You can see I adjusted my depth of my Livescope down to 15 feet. You can see all that bait fish going down there, following my bait down. Just, you can see them coming up with my bait too. Still looking out the same distance because we're pitching out the same distance. The only thing that's changed is their depth. Alright, we're done with the shallow stuff. Don't know if our jig body can take much more of it. So I've had enough, boss. Had enough. I'm gonna say you've had enough. Get one more fish out. We'll go back down to our 20 feet. I mean, you can see that they are just loaded through this bottom column. And if you go from 12 foot and then you go out to about 12 feet, they are just loading up. So I want to cast out to about 18. You can see the bait fish going down with my bait. And you see the fish start going down with my bait. Kind of drifts over into the foot out, 12 foot down area I was talking about. I gotta hold it in this wake and waves and wind. That's just hard work. Our jig body's still there. We're gonna get over. Oh, we are in our spot. We're just not quite deep enough. We're gonna go back to the 25 foot range we're looking for. Try to get out of these weed beds into this flat area. And there's a fish we're targeting. There's just one of them, but you know how that goes. I get down to him. If him or one of his buddies sees it, they'll tell their buddies, and pretty soon we'll have about 10 of them on the same one. I just barely see my bait. We're at the bottom. 2 of them see it. Two of them see it. There's about 3 more coming in. And when they see it, we're gonna have a party. Drop back down to the bottom. Go up. Kind of drifted into them, but just like that, I went from 1 fish to 5 to 15 of them. I don't know how much battery I got left. 44%. So we'll be able to film a little bit more yellow perch fishing before we try to go look for some crappie. It's slowing down a little, but really only got 2 spots that we really know of that might have crappie right now. We got some weed beds that are in a different spot than these weed beds that don't have crappie, which we are back in again somehow. It's pretty easy to drift off this spot in the wind and wake. There's about 20 yellow perch. That spot we were just in. Wow, that's crazy. All those are yellow perch. We got pretty far out there. That worked. We just dropped it down, raised it up. That's a nice one. Yeah, that's some weight. Felt like rocks. Might have been that wake boat I pissed off this morning, but man, some people are just so full of themselves. They asked me what I was doing. Like I'm tying up to the dock. I knew exactly why. He's like, no, what do you mean? What are you doing tying up when I'm about to launch? I'm like, dude, you have plenty of room to launch. And if you were wanting the spot I'm in, you should have got back there and launched your boat instead of jerking off. Just had to give that one a little bit of a jerk because it's something big checking it out up top. All of a sudden we went to a ton of fish and then I can't see my bait. Sun glare. It's kind of bad. I seem to really like that, dropping it on the bottom and raising it. So we're 17 feet, looking 25 feet out. I just pitched that down about 20 feet. Pitched it out about 20 feet. out or busting top water. Alright, I'm gonna mess with these for 20-30 more minutes and then go do some different type of fishing maybe. See you later.